Welcome in to the 12 Talk podcast pre-draft special. My name's Josh, and with me, as always, wait, let me get the side right, is Mitch. There you go. So, a sense of trepidation there, mate. It's going to be a long pod, a long night, but a very exciting one for us as well. We have got what promises to be an amazing pod for everyone that's going to tune in. And thank you very much for those that are tuning in already. By all means, get yourselves in the comments, share this stream. The more people get in, the better the conversation. We have got an amazing array of guests. We've got fellow podcasters, members of the Discord. We've got journalists as well coming on who might be able to give us a bit of an inside scoop. So if you're doing nothing and you're just like us, having a couple of drinks, waiting for the draft to start, stay with us. Crack open a beer. If beer's not your fancy, have whatever. Mitch, what were you on? You had a...
Oh, you're going to humiliate me here. I was drinking a caramel macchiato with some Bailey's liqueur in it, which you likened to the drink of choice of what, a 70, 80-year-old woman.
Easy drinking, my friend. 70-year-old grandma.
It's that Christmas. Caffeine and alcohol blend we all need.
Fair, and I suppose as well, because it's not vodka Red Bull, it doesn't turn your pee luminous. So
that's later.
but again, like for anyone joining with us now, I mean, please feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Any interaction you guys give us really makes our day. We're a pod by 12s, 4 12s with 12s. And we just love interaction. We don't do super chats. We're not quite there yet, but we just love you guys getting involved. And if you want to get involved throughout the draft as well, we are hosting a watch party live on our Discord. The Discord master, this man here. So we're going to be watching the pod live. We're going to be in a bit of a bunker, a silo. So we're not going to have our social media open. We're just going to have a chat about it all, see what comes up on there. And hopefully no one's going to spoil it for us. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, so tonight we're going to be going through such things as who do you run to the podium for? What is your no matter what pick? What is your preference to picks? What is your God, no pick? And then we're going to go through some mocks from our guests. Mitch, was there anything else I missed there?
Yeah, well, we asked for the no matter what from our guests. So the draft day sort of themed, no matter what, who's your guy. Not dependent on the first round. That could be someone in a later round that you want to make sure you maneuver around the board to get. A dream pick, who could fall maybe in the first round, or who could still be there when we're picking in the second round that you wouldn't expect to be there, or you'd love to see. The no God no. Is there a player that you really don't want to be a Seahawk? Shador Sanders, Carl.
No God! No exactly. God, please no!
Exactly that. Yeah, so I mean that's the sort of thing we're going to cover, and we're going to start picking through people's favorite mocks and see what we like about them, and see how that compares through all of our guests. So that's going to be really interesting, I think, to see how people's opinions vary in such a sort of quick succession. We're going to see a lot of opinions in a short period of time. So very exciting.
So we're going to get into that as soon as we've got on the other side of this intro. So stay tuned, have a good vibe out to this music because we still love it as well. See you in a minute. There we go. So again, thanks everyone who's coming in, and I'm just sort of checking through the comments. Mitch will be manning those as well. So if you have anything you want to say, any questions you've got for any of our guests, for us, by all means, pop them in there. We're going to have a lot of views and different takes on this draft coming in. I don't know about you, Mitch, but I don't know. I said I don't know about you. This is your Christmas. I know about you. I know for a fact that you have spent all week just doing mock drafts, absorbing every bit of content and information possible about the draft, which I wouldn't expect anything less from our resident draft expert, to be honest. It's what you do.
Yeah, almost sick of it at this point. But you know, it by the end of the weekend, I'll be staring down the barrel of another 360 days until we have another one. So you know, you've got to absorb it while you can. Although I do feel like some of the, at least the top end of mock drafts, are kind of streamlining a bit now, and we'll get into that later. But I think the likely picks have kind of narrowed down to a handful of names now, which is really interesting. But we'll get into that. So
I've seen some very interesting ones. Obviously, our guests have all given us their favourite mock. We've got ours at the end as well. If we get chance, we may do another mock. Just a quick comment coming in from Paul, who is mine and Mitch's fantasy football commissioner. There is no spreadsheet from Mitch on today's episode, I'm afraid, Paul. That will have to wait. There'll be plenty of spreadsheets going forward.
Doesn't mean I'm not working off one, but it's not going to be on screen.
There is Mitch and I have been doing the logistics of all of our guests coming on today, and as soon as we were finalising it, I did say to him, "Yeah, Mitch, you can put that in your spreadsheet." And I knew for a fact there was going to be one. It's like I know you, yeah. But like, there's been a lot of conjecture going around. Obviously, everyone's got their favourite, everyone's got their preference that we take at 18. But the biggest buzz I hear at the moment is obviously Gray Zabel.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into it further, but he seems to be the general consensus for our stick and pick.
Yeah, I think there's a factor or two that will make John Schneider a little bit unsure of that pick, especially our native 18th pick. The level of the division that he's played in is the biggest caveat, because taking an offensive lineman early is not something we do. Taking an offensive lineman early from an FCS conference, that would be really different. Only 2% of our 215 picks under John Schneider have been from SCS divisions. So for one of them to be in, that's only 4 picks out of 215 have been from FCS conferences. So for one of them to be an 18th pick, that's the pick. However, everything else looks quite comfortable. It's a scheme fit, it's a personality fit, it's leadership, it's a 5-position offensive line player that, there's versatility there. That's backup for Abe Lucas. That's a plug and play at left guard. That's a fail safe if we don't keep Cross or don't pay Cross. So there's a lot going for that pick, and he's a superb player. So I think they'll be comfortable picking him in the first. They'd be even happier after a trade back. I think that's the caveat.
I think so too. So, but I mean, everything that we've sort of read upon, I think John Schneider is on board with possibly taking an O-line player. If he does take one early, I may fall off my seat, because it'd be a first for him after everything he said about the value of O-line and then being overdrafted and overpaid. If it does happen, I will be pleasantly surprised. But before we sort of go further down that route, just very quickly, as always, we just like to shout out the UK Seahawkers. We are the UK Seahawkers official podcast, and we're still very, very proud of that. If you'd like to join the UK Seahawkers, you can. It's £12 for the year for one member. A household up to 4 members is only £20, with an extra £5 postage per person if you're outside the UK. With that, you get such things as access to our social events, which we'll be talking about, because Mitch, in just over a week's time, we'll be in Glasgow.
We'll be in Glasgow.
Yeah, Glasgow. The first thing I'm going to do is try and buy a can of Tennent's. I'm not going to lie. I say try, it'll be everywhere. You get 10% discount at the Pro Shop. You are eligible to game day field passes. You get access to members-only competitions. And there's the annuals this year. Was this? We got 2 fantastic coasters. That's Mitch's glorious box there as well. one day, I might. There you go, and the patch on Mitch's hat. Nice bit of sewing there, sir.
Thank
For
you.
me, I've got fabric glue. That's as far as I get, which for an army child is pretty disappointing. I know my stepdad would really be disappointed now. You get your patch, you get your wristband, and you get your membership card as well. And as we alluded to, this year, our meetup is at Admiral Woods, Waterloo Street in Glasgow. If you're a UK Seahawkers member and you feel you can spare that weekend to go to Glasgow, come and join us. We're going to be there. We're going to be meeting all of the UK Seahawkers. We're going to be doing some interviews with the various members there. We're going to be having some drinks. We're going to be regretting every decision in the morning when we've got to travel back. But I am so looking forward to this. We're going to be there from the Friday, where we're going to have meal and some drinks. Saturday, have a wander around Glasgow. Saturday night will be the meet. And also, we'll get some nice group photos, much like this one, from some of the UK Seahawkers that were there in Newark last year. There were more, I know that for a fact, but these are the ones that decided to go for a trek. Which you can tell by the very comfortable shoes going on. So that is a must if we're walking around Glasgow. And Seahawk of the Year nominations are open. Oh, they were open till the 20th of April. That shows how much I've updated this. Hopefully you got your votes in. All right. And as always, we're still very, very proud supporters of the Robbing Cancer Trust. The man in the ball bag, Toby Freeman. Toby is running 500 kilometers dressed as a ball bag with a goal to save lives. In this on X or Instagram at the moment because YouTube doesn't like this. By all means, you can jump in our Discord. Mitch will put a link in a comment and it's on X. It's our pinned post. But I want to say thank you very much once again, boys. I'm going to have to move on to the next two gentlemen, but we really appreciate this. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the Discord later when we're doing the watch party.
You absolutely will.
Nice one. Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
There we go. Well, for anyone who is watching, we have got some more guests coming up. But before we do that, feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this on our YouTube. It does usually work, and I'm not sure what's happening today. It's just playing up. And as we mentioned, you can join the Discord. It is free. It's the pin post on our X. Mitch will put it in the comments here, which hopefully when you get to rewatch this, it'll work. But Mitch, shall we bring on our next two guests?
Yeah, let's do that. By the way, YouTube does seem to be working.
Hurrah! We're back. There we
Something
go.
like
So anyone watching, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching on X or Insta, by all means, feel free to share this. Any comments that come in through any platform, we'll try and get to as well. But let's bring in the other boys. So firstly, 12 Talk #1 fan, Gary Swain is back. And Seahawks Wales, Richard Blake is back, bringing a bit of diversity.
Good evening, chaps.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
How are you
Happy
doing?
Draft day.
Yeah,
Happy
very
draft day.
excited. Very excited. Yeah.
I've had my I've had my Wraith energy to stay up, and I'm hoping that between that and the beer I'm drinking, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, I'm gonna be. No, I don't want to say that because I might get canned on a stream. I will also want to say the Rugby Club. I'm going to be drinking from two hands. Anyone who knows, it'd be double. Yeah, but never mind. So, gents, you're back on. You are two valuable members of our Discord. You've both been on this pod multiple times. Gary's hopped on when I've been off. Rich has been on as well. We're going to go through. It's going to be the same as what we did before. However, this time, let's do question to the two of you.
Yeah, nice.
I think that's better.
Like
then we
it.
can go.
Yeah.
We'll go through the mock. So we'll do one question, and then Rich, you go first. Then we'll go Gary. But the master of ceremonies for these
That's me.
is Mitch.
That is me. Right. So, first question, obviously, same format. Who is your no matter what? Which you're both obviously going to answer it, but we say we're going Gary first for this, or Rich?
You pick, mate. I don't mind. The
Go on,
gentleman
Gary.
can decide.
Gary, number one fan, got to go first. So, who's your no matter what?
Okay. I actually don't have a no matter what player because obviously it being the draft, we never know who is going to be there. We haven't got a clue. And this draft seems to be really quite wide open to me. There seems to be a lot of potential movement and people moving up and down. So I'm not going for a player. I'm going to go for no matter what. Please, can we get at least one starting interior offensive lineman? That's very much what I would love.
That's a big ask for a generic kind of canvas. I thought you know that
Just one.
you know,
That's all we want.
yeah. I mean, we drafted 3 last year, and none of them really nailed down a starting spot. So it's weirdly quite a big ask. But what about you, Rich? Who's your no matter what here?
I don't think it'd be much of a surprise the way I've been harping on about this guy on Discord and on the previous show, but it's Nick Eamon Warren. I know he's been mentioned previously, but it's just the fact that you'd elevate the room in the safety room. It's already very, very good, but he's my draft crush. He's visited us as well, which I think makes it also realistic that he could be potentially a chance. But I think he could very well be available, and yeah, I think we should take him, to be honest, and just go that route.
It's a lot of talent, isn't it? And it's such a sexy pick as well. That'd be so exciting to watch alongside, Love and Witherspoon, and that secondary is going to be lights out with someone like that in there. So I love
Kobe Bryant riding some pine as soon as he gets drafted.
I also read earlier on, obviously there's been talk about him being a bit disruptive over the last week or so, isn't there? But Corbin Smith has come out this evening and he's confirmed that he's spoken to 2 of his teammates this week, and he's highly regarded in the locker room, and they both scoffed at the idea that he doesn't love football. So there's the other end of the coin. So,
It could just be it could just be one of those storylines that floats on draft day. I mean, people have been talking about him a lot all since the combine, during last year in college. Where was that stuff then? Why is that suddenly on draft week? So yeah, pinch of salt with that, I think.
I love the smoke and mirrors around draft time.
Yeah.
Whereas for a fact there are scouts in some organizations that go, I found this guy that no one's talking about yet. And then as soon as it comes around to draft time and everyone goes, oh my God, this guy's amazing. Someone's like, quick, dig up some dirt.
Yeah.
Has he crashed a car? Did he once steal some drinks when he was 12? Has he got an uncle who's in prison? Anything like that.
Did he have
How
a
many of
birthday
his
party?
teammates?
No,
Exactly. That was exactly what I was going to say.
Not that I've been watching any films lately.
No. Do you know, on that subject, draft day, it was always an awkward watch because of how the Seahawks looked. But it wasn't until this year watching draft day that it's now extra awkward because P. Diddy's in there as well. I was watching it, I was like, that's another reason to find this an awkward watch.
I so nearly reposted that the other day, and I was like, no, don't.
Yeah, but we'll move off that. So, dream pick, Gary. Who would be your dream Seahawk in this draft? Any round.
Right. Dream pick. I've kind of cheated again. I haven't gone with a player. This is a total dream scenario. So what my dream pick would be a late round quarterback that we pick up, sits behind, as I'm sitting with Bryce, where we have somebody sit for like a year or two at least, and he then turns out to be the new Tom Brady, but with Lamar Jackson's speed. So that's my dream pick.
So essentially, your dream pick is a very good value, greatest of all time quarterback. Not asking much, shall we?
Yeah, they're a dime a dozen, mate.
Yeah, every draft. Yeah. What about you, Rich? Who's your dream?
I've looked over the coming months, like everyone has, and there's been so many different prospects and everything. But I finally settled on Jahdae Barron.
Oh, okay.
The reason is his versatility. Mike McDonald's defense, he loves versatility. Seems to be the key word at the moment, and I just think that he's a starting caliber pro at safety. He can do a wide cornerback, nickel defender, but yeah, it's just no frills with him again. But I'm all about versatility, and I actually think he's going to go higher than a lot of people think. Just around reading up and doing a bit of reading around him. Again, natural zone defender, excellent instincts, excellent anticipation, and it'll just add to an already good defense that this could turn and lead to something around that sort of versatility as well. And we all know Mike McDonald loves that part of it, and he strives to get that type of player. So I just try to be a little bit different on that pick, because obviously we've heard this like bit of familiar names going around with what people are thinking, but I just try to break it down into like that sort of thing, versatility.
I really like it. I think one of the themes to look out for tonight is which run starts first. Is it going to be the wide receiver run? Is it going to be the edge rushers or the corners? Edge rusher and corner is quite a light group in terms of depth. And if the wide receiver run starts early in this draft, I think we'll start seeing some movement with trades. Same with corners, because anyone who's needing a starting corner, and there are a few teams, if that starts early, you might see Ravel going up into the back end of the first round, and players like Benjamin Morrison creeping up, and Darian Porter, like those players. That short list is going to feel even shorter if that run starts early. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. So, what's the next one? Is it the Oh God? Is it the Oh God? Is it time for the Oh God? No, oh no, it's the likely pick. Likely pick.
Oh God,
Gary,
finger was on the button.
I was just ready to hear it again. Likely pick. What do you think? Or you might well give us a scenario here. What's a likely scenario in this draft for the Seahawks, or a likely pick?
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what direction they're going to go in. As we know, historically, they don't tend to go for interior offensive linemen, especially early. I think that's something that we would potentially like, but I'm not sure. I think they may go that way, or wide receiver. I don't know why. I've just got this funny feeling that it's going to be one of those two. I can't give you a player because obviously, again, it just depends who's available. But I think potentially either a interior offensive lineman or a wide receiver. I don't know why. I mean, I don't think I'd be particularly happy with the wide receiver in the first round, but the interior lineman, yeah, potentially, I could live with that.
I think you're massively in line with a lot of what media are saying at the moment. I think the last thing I read was that if it's not Gray Zabel at 18, it's likely to be Tet McMillan. Although I like Golden more as a fit, but also don't see him as a first-round graded wide receiver. So if we trade back and take an interior lineman or wide receiver, I think that's a great situation. So and I think it's also highly likely. So I'm in tune with you there, I think. Rich, likely scenario or player?
Yeah, I think in this situation it could very well be Gray Zabel, and that's because his hard work has got himself into a great position to be drafted in round one. It's very impressive what he's done and the way he's gone about it. Again, his position versatility is a major plus as well. He started the games at 4 different spots, and he's been like high level in all of them as well. But again, it would be against the grain. It's not the route usually, is it, this early in the pick, but again, just to finish on that one, I also would not be surprised in the slightest if we do trade back with the value available in round 2, for example, and all further on. Just depending what you get there. But if you wanted someone in there who could slot in from day one, I think he'd be a great fit.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. If we were to take Gray Zabel, he would be the 5th player that John Schneider's selected in his time as GM from a FCS division. It's only happened 4 times historically in 215 picks. So for one of those picks to be a first rounder, when you look at that, it seems very unlikely. But I think there's a scheme fit, and there's a personality fit, and a leadership fit, and a versatility fit, and showing out at the Pro Bowl is another thing that we like. There's an awful lot of arrows pointing at Gray Zabel, but there is that underlying historical bias that kind of undermines it. But yeah, very good. So, Gary, oh God, no.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
What don't you want to see, Gary?
I'm never going to get bored of that, by the way. That's
Every pod.
Yeah,
that might become my ringtone or my message tone.
Just for the wife, yeah, when the wife messages.
yeah.
Sounds like work.
Oh dear. Oh, for me, I'm just not a fan of any of the quarterbacks that are rated potentially first rounders. Ward, Sanders, Milroe, Dart. Me personally, I don't want us to touch any of them. That's just me. I don't mind taking a shot at a late round, but these guys, I don't know. None of them strike me as if they're. I think, they can be, serviceable quarterbacks. I'm not sure that you're going to get a franchise quarterback, which I think like a first or second round is what you're looking for. And I don't want us to spend those picks on those guys. That's just me. What do I know? I sit on the couch and watch the games.
I don't think that's a strange opinion. I think that's quite a common consensus amongst the fans, to be honest with you.
It's mine. I said it on previous pods. I don't think any of these quarterbacks in previous drafts would be considered consensus number one or top 10.
I don't. No,
agree with that. Rich?
Yeah, I've gone Shadur Sanders.
Say yes, thank God.
Okay.
First one to mention it.
Yeah, it's just, it seems to be a bit of baggage with him. It's not his fault, obviously, with who his dad is and things like that, and just all that side of it. He could have a bit of a sideshow coming with him, and I just think I don't think we'd won that in the group, for example. But also, I just think he takes a lot of sacks. He doesn't let plays fully develop. His pocket presence isn't great. He does do some good stuff, but I just think he expects pressure and he doesn't stay in and read the play as much. And I just think he's going to go quite high-ish for what I would want us to do. And I wouldn't want to be in that position to do it, even though with Adam Schefter coming out and saying there's a possibility we may take a quarterback quite early, I just don't want it to be that early. I wouldn't like it to be him, because I just don't think he's anywhere near as polished as what he's talked up to be, and all that baggage that comes with him. It's not for me, really. So,
but can I just say my piece on Sanders before? I know, Mitch, you want to say something as well, but I have been adamant for a long time now, since watching Colorado games, because you're drawn to them anyway because of Coach Prime and all the hype around it. But I've been adamant he is not a round one quarterback. He is, and I know we're a family-friendly pod, but we're on late night. He is an arse. when you have had a dad like Coach Prime bringing you up all your life, blowing smoke up you, telling you how good you are, I don't care what people say, that brings a negative mindset. And that negative mindset will bleed in. I don't think he's a Mike Mack guy. I've said multiple times. I could see if he was available, Mike Mack would just look at John Schneider with a firm no, or it'd be a F no, because he would just bring so much disruption. Could you imagine having Coach Prime there all the time, whittering in like Mike Mack's ear and sort of telling him that, oh, you should be doing this, my son's going to get another jersey number retired after mediocre college career. I can't stand that pick. Whoever gets them, good luck to them.
You just think, don't you, is a lot of these players who go on to be elite and high level, they come up from adversity. It's just he hasn't.
It's the hunger, isn't it, that makes you want to get there.
And this, I've had this conversation with my wife about certain players in the NFL, and she's asked like why the demographic is what it is, and I said a lot of it is because when you go through so much adversity in your life and how you're brought up, it's the way you get out of that adversity, and this is what draws people to these players. It's very rare you see an overprivileged. Shador Sanders is a complete outlier here, but someone who's been brought up with a silver spoon, multi-millionaire family who makes it in the league because everyone's had to battle for their spot. That's what makes you a better player, makes you a better person. And I think this is it's one of my big issues with him, because if I was trying to coach anyone like that, I would probably just be like, I'm sorry, I don't think this is the right team for you.
Yeah.
So no.
But there are players whose sons do make it. For instance, Bryce's mock draft, he had Carlson Bruner being chosen. Now his father was a Husky and also played in the NFL as well as a tight end. He was a damn good tight end. Not a fantastic tight end in the NFL, but he was very, very
He
good.
wasn't Deion Sanders, was he?
No, he was not Deion Sanders. But you know, you do sometimes get that where it runs in the family, the athleticism, which is kind of strange as well. You quite often get that as well. But I know what you're saying, because he's had a completely different upbringing. He's had someone who's telling him, you are the best. You know, don't worry about what anyone else says. Yeah, no, it's not for me. Not for me.
Oh, good. So we're on the same wavelength. Shall we go to the mocks?
Let's do that. Yeah, good.
And
That
just
looks
I'll add.
an
So
awful
I need to add them to the stage every single time I come onto this now. So we'll start with Gary. Gary. So everyone I've tried to put as their title, they've usually got a social media handle or a podcast. Gary, however, as our local technophobe, doesn't have any of that. So we've just got Gary Swain, 12 Talk Pod #1 fan.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
I'm happy with that. That's fine.
Run us through.
You can find me at 12 Talk Pod.
You can find you in the Discord. There you go.
And the Discord, yes, of course.
So Gary, wait,
you can see me.
Before we get into this,
of course. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry, you got your new toy.
It's not new. I've just not used it properly for so long.
So, yeah, Gary, tell us about some of this then. Just some players in there, or positional needs, or where you've taken certain positions.
Well, I was well chuffed with my first pick. Well, firstly, because I mean, you know, if you watch these shows, you'll know that he's one of the guys I'd love to see us pick. But I actually traded down with New York, the Giants, who went and selected Jackson Dart. So I was quite happy for them to take him. And then Kenneth Grant was still there. So I thought, yes, nose tackle. That's a pretty rare beast. And a beast of his size. I know there's shortcomings there, but I think he's got the potential to be just that space eater that we don't have at the moment. And nose tackles are rare beasts. So I thought, quite happy to take him at that position. And then we've got the Giants' first round pick next year. So I'm like, yeah, hopefully they're tank and we'll be picking in the top 5.
let's have a Denver situation, shall we?
Yeah, exactly. Job done. And then I was just, going through the draft and seeing who was available. And I don't know about you guys, but centre, I'm just not confident about where we are with some centres. Olawutimi, I think he seems to have, he seemed to be like I don't know if there's a ceiling for him. I don't know if he's reached where he can get to. I'm not sure, and it doesn't seem to. If we're going to be going to a new system where we're going to need people to be athletic, and I don't think he's going to suit that. So I just thought, well, I know that we've had Wilson in with us. He's played at obviously a high level as well. So, he's playing for Georgia. So I thought, okay, I'd like to plug him in and potentially maybe fill that void. Then I've gone for wide receiver because I just, obviously what's happened, we've had 2 starting wide receivers leaving. I just think, just depth, just throw enough darts at the board, and one of them's going to stick. I mean, the whole draft process, no matter what everyone says, everyone's an expert, but there's no guarantees in any of this. So I just, and then I've gone back to trenches, and you can see I'm looking at trenches again because I'm a firm believer, a bit like rugby. If you haven't got forwards, even though I was a back, if you haven't got forwards, you're not going to win a game. And I think it's the same with trenches. If you don't have solid trenches in American football, I don't think you're going to be competitive. So I've then gone for Fairchild, who was obviously a teammate of Wilson, and same along with Bryce. My thinking there, those two have played together, so I thought that would be a good combination. Put them together. They know one another. They know each other's game. And then we've gone for Stuart from Michigan. I know we've spoken about earlier, and I agree with everything you said. Then again, I've gone D-line, CJ West, because he can play nose tackle, but he can also play across every position as well. So he gives you that versatility. And then I've taken that swing. I wish the Seahawks would take a swing at a quarterback, please. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work, in rounds 5, 6, 7. Take a swing, see what happens. Tom Brady, what round did he go in?
5th, wasn't it?
No, so he was in the last round, wasn't it? Yeah.
Was he 7th round? I thought it was a
Yeah.
5th rounder.
No, he
Shows
was
how
in
much
the
attention I
last
pay to
round.
the Patriots.
Yeah, no, exactly. But you just don't know. You've got to throw the dice and just see what happens. And the situation that we're in at the moment, my thinking was the same as Bryce. We've got 2 starters there, so he doesn't even have to start at the moment. Hopefully, there's no reason for him to start. So that was my reason for just take a punt for the future. And then tight end, Lacey, I think again, he's been mentioned quite a bit on our pod. And then the last 2 were just punts, basically, just looking for depth. And I have no idea whether, they will, be any good, but obviously it's just worth a punt for me.
Well, Woodson was on Bryce's board in the earlier Draft Crushes episode that we did.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest, looking at this, when you think about the fact we've released Cam Young, which could possibly have an injury payment coming his way, that's instantly someone to elevate that position, which is a position of need. Jared Wilson, like I said, Oliver Teamy. Mitch, was it you said he's currently training at guard as well?
Yeah, he's doing both, which is good because I always think that centers should have that flex between the 2 spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like he's an award-winning center throughout college. He is no slouch. He's an intelligent player.
Yeah.
Guard may be the making of him.
Yeah.
And there we go. So Brady was a 6th rounder from Adam.
Okay.
So
he was a late rounder
in the middle. There you go.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I really like this, and I see. I know there's a player on there that Mitch loves as well, and Luke. Is it Lachey?
Lachey.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, Mitch, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. Kyle McCord's a great late shot if you can get it. And that's a real free hit on a guy that's improved throughout college, played in some really good colleges, well coached.
Yeah.
I think that if he's there, I think that's a no-brainer. Tight end Iowa, there's a great pedigree there with creating some fantastic tight ends. And what he's put on tape has been really good across the board. He's what's the word? I wouldn't say he's highly polished at any one discipline, but you don't necessarily want someone that's highly polished in one thing but can't do another at tight end. That is a utilitarian kind of role, and adding a bit of that to the room we've got with Fant and Barner is that's quite a nice third wheel in that room, and you're going to get great value with that. So he's one of my players. I think if I was to pick 2 players that I think are pretty much nailed on to be picked, it would be Stewart and it would be Luke Lachey. So you've got them both in there, so I can't hate it.
Do you know what I quite like as well? You've double dipped on the Georgia offensive line. I think we said this on our hot takes pod with Dan Viens. If you can have, and I think we might have said it as well, if you can have 2 players that play side by side on the same offensive or defensive line, they're already in sync, so you're a step ahead already.
Yeah,
and
that's
really
what I
like
did that for. Same as Bryce did earlier. He did exactly the same as well with 2 Georgia guys. So I don't know why teams haven't done that. I'm sure there's a reason, but it's worth sort of trying that method and see what happens.
If we use a rugby analogy, look at the amount of pairings.
Yeah, exactly.
Forwards, backs that play internationally together as well, because they're already in sync that way. I like it. I like the mindset. Rich, You are up, boyo.
Yeah, obviously this isn't my one, but what I enjoyed doing was go back for the Discord and seeing loads of people's different versions. And to be honest, it was a hell of a lot better than what I came up with, most of them. But I just admired people's picks and how it all landed and stuff.
Oh,
So
this is Maxie's, and Maxie's
Yeah.
watching as well, I believe.
yeah,
He's
so
watching,
this
yeah.
one in particular, I thought if any, I'd be delighted if this turned out this way. To be honest, I was excellent. But yeah. Evan Warwick speaks for himself, although we've already spoke about it. But Mason Taylor fills a need at tight end, key to QBR system, as we know, but also a smooth pass catcher, athletically gifted, and he scored tremendously well in the combine. So I think he's got all the traits to be a success, especially with Brady Russell now moving across the fullback on that one. Again, Jack Beck, as mentioned earlier on, Tate Ratledge first, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tate Ratledge. He's the overall top scorer in the combine for a guard. 98 athleticism, pretty impressive, but he's also a nasty demeanour and brings that to the trenches, and it's exactly what we need. We're a bit too nice for me, really. So I think that's absolutely ideal on that one. But Jack Beck as well, Cooper Cup 2.0. I think enough to be said there. Plenty of potential on that one as well. The one I did like the most on this as well was Alfred Collins.
Big boy.
Yeah, and quite simply, he's a disruptor, isn't he? And of course, he developed behind one of our own, Byron Murphy. So with that as well, but he had brilliant performances in the CFP run. He had 10 tackles across 2 playoff games, if I remember right, something like that. And so the strength of the point of attack is just off the scale. So I think it'd be good value of that one there. Stutzman, again, rare combination of size and movement. I think he's £241, give or take, and 4.62 speed. No, that's impressive. And his run game recognition and his reaction time is also really, really good. And I think he also can do well in special teams. He covers all units in that one. And again, that will transfer immediately across the NFL. So I thought that's
tackling machine that played an absolutely enormous amount of football in college as well. And I always like to see a big catalogue of games for middle linebackers. You really do need to put the time on the field. If you're a potential green dot candidate, you want to have played a lot of football. So Danny Stutzman is leader experience. The game's not going to be, it'll slow down for him at NFL level quicker than most players because of playing so many snaps in college. And like you say, immediate contributor on special teams as well with the speed and power and technique. So I love that pick.
Well, sounds like a former Oklahoma Sooner middle linebacker that we used to have for us.
Name, Gary.
The Boz.
The Boz. My guy. Ironically, my guy.
Yeah. And in his first season, he came second in tackles in his rookie season, and he was the play caller on defense. And we made the playoffs in that year as well for the first time in Yonks. And he had a 17 tackle game against the Houston Oilers, which we blooming lost in overtime. I remember.
Blimey, Gary. That come off the top, did it? I thought I was the stats guy. That was great.
Well, the thing is, so many people, sort of talk about Boz and say he was a bust. He was a bust because he was broken, not because he wasn't a good player. He was a good player, but he was damaged goods, unfortunately, when he joined. So hopefully, if we do get Stutzman, he won't be a Boz. He will be a person who can stay on the field and play.
Well, I don't think he'd be needed too much in year one anyway.
No,
with
that's true.
With the middle linebacker room we've got, he wouldn't be relied on too much.
But
you're right. Tread on the tyres.
I was literally about to say something. I was like, on the plus side, he hasn't got Bo Jackson to worry about. So.
Yeah, again, Bo, that tackle, it was about 2 yards out, and Bo's come from 6 yards deep, and I think you find Bo Jackson, he's listed at either 220 or 240, and he could shift. a lot quicker than anyone else on the field most of the time. And I think Bosworth were listed around about 240. It was really only going to be one winner.
It didn't help the tackle technique was awful either. There was zero hinging at the hips. It was like, I'm just going to try and hit him as hard as possible without even thinking.
The thing is,
how can I actually stop this guy?
The thing is, because he's had to run across and he's met him, and he's just met him 2 yards out, and you're like, you're not going to stop Bo Jackson from 2 yards out, moving at pace. No way. It don't matter who you are. You could be a defensive lineman. He still puts you in.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. It makes me sad because when I first became a Seahawks fan, I was looking through the history of the Seahawks and I found pictures of the Boz and I was like, I need to look at this guy. He looks amazing. Like you had the cowboy collar, then you had the mullet.
Yeah.
And what if you can call it a mullet with the lightnings.
The Boz haircut. I think they just called it the Boz.
The Boz. That's all you needed. And when I saw that, I was like, oh God, please no.
But watch his highlights because they're on YouTube. There's a guy who's loaded up his highlights. Yeah, but for the Seahawks, his first season highlights, he was as Dave Wyman, who was selected because he came in the same draft, but he was in the supplemental draft. It was a lottery, and we got him. Every team wanted him because obviously he had all the buzz about him, and Dave Wyman was actually gutted because he was like, "Oh, that's my position gone," because that's where I was going to play. And then they were put together as roommates in their rookie season, but they became good friends. And he said, what people don't realise is that he was a really good player. And as he said, if you watch him in his first season, until he got, because he played 10 games and then got injured, and that was it. He was just done after that, unfortunately.
That's what happens,
Rich,
unfortunately.
Last couple of picks on there. Anything to note before we move on to our next lovely guest?
Yeah, I think Cam Jackson is one on that list. He's another nasty type that we need on that. But he's an absolute tank of a bloke. 342 pounds, 6'6" frame. But the way he eats up space as well, I still think they scratching the surface potential, and with NFL coaching on top, I think that was one hell of value pick there, 175, which I thought was one of the best ones of that.
Very good.
Nice.
And Bryce Cabaldoo, who you have to announce into the room, like John Cena entering the room.
Yeah,
which I like a lot.
Again, he's a 4-year starter himself, isn't he? And so he's got all the snaps behind him. And again, another good value opportunity there. He could come off. So at that late,
Like it.
Very good. Very good.
Gents, well, I just want to say a massive thank you again. And undoubtedly, you'll be in the comments and you'll be in the Discord later. And, we always enjoy having you guys on. It's so nice having members of our community from the Discord who come on here, really have valid opinions and share. If anyone's watching, you're not in a Discord, join. If you want to appear on this, especially during the season, this whole platform, if you are new, is to give a voice to 12s. So if you want to come on a pod and discuss the Seahawks after a game or for a bit of news, contact us. That's what we're here for. We are all about that. And these two gentlemen below us are proof. They have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much again, boys. I love having you guys on.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, guys. And fingers crossed for today that we don't trade out the first round. I'm going to stay up. I'm going to set my alarm for about 3 and then see where we are.
Come and join the Discord and then
go back to bed.
In your pajamas.
No, I want to be in bed. I took my little tablet and I'll just put the alarm for 3-ish and then have a look. Oh, crikey, look, we're still on pick 10.
Not even got to leave the bed.
No.
He's got it switched on. Well, boys, Gary, Rich, thank you so much. Absolute pleasure as always. We've got our next guest waiting. We're going to get through some comments first, but hopefully you guys will stick with us and then we'll see where this goes. Right. Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Bye.
So before we get our next guest on, I've got something special for our next guest as well. Not to give him, but to show him. We've had a few comments come in, and I really want to get to these because, like I keep saying, we're a pod by 12s, for 12s, with 12s, and our whole purpose is to give a voice to you guys. So I'm going to start with some of these. So we've got Dogzilla Monster, who's come in and said, would be hilarious fun if we select 460-pound nose tackle Desmond Watson. That is an inhuman weight. Is this the guy from Florida?
Yeah, he's
Is he the
enormous.
Gator? Like,
It's heavier than me, and I thought I was heavy.
you're slimming down, mate. There's going to be nothing left of you soon.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it. And then again from Dogzilla Monster, are the Niners effing with our stream? Well, we're back now, and that's all that matters. Although I will admit my bum was squeaking whilst we were not on YouTube, but we were available on Insta and X, so that's fine. Adam just comments Mitch's glorious box.
I got DMs about my box while this was happening. My everything was popping up in the bottom corner of my screen about my box. What's going on here?
And there's his next fantasy football team name. Bosh.
Glorious box.
Glorious box. Dogzilla again, and desperately hoping Zabel falls to 18 and we can get him. I think everyone is. Jonas Meister. Oh, who's this fella? Maybe we'll see him soon. Don't do a final mock draft. Do a way too early mock for 2026. I haven't even started scouting 2026. So I don't know if Mitch
Arch
has
Manning,
either.
that's all you need to know.
And watch the bum fight happen for people trading up for him. Dogzilla again. He's cracked a stellar in sunny Seattle. He's settling in. Good lad. And I'm pretty sure as well, he said there was a drinking game he was going to play every time I mentioned the soundboard. Soundboard, or played the soundboard. So enjoy necking that kind of stellar, mate. So Paul, our fantasy football GM, has come in and said, no matter what, Genty. Pete Carroll would love an Ashton Genty. But the rumours are that the Jags are tempted by him as well. And his
No, God! No, God, please, no!
That's another drink.
Yeah. Nick Hemingway. It's a reach for a safety. We've got Maximus. He's come in and said, how many QBs were not predicted round one, went round one last year? That is a very good question.
Yeah, I think we were looking at 3, I think, and we got 5 in the top. How many was it? Top 15? I can't remember now.
Yeah,
but it
top
was
way too early.
Yeah, including Penix at 9, which was a shock on the night, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, apart from us, because one of our guests actually clued us in on that before it happened.
Absolutely, yeah, that was good.
So,
remember that.
Yeah. So, should we welcome in our next guest?
Let's do that.
Returning guest, international guest, and co-host of the pod from time to time, Jonas Meister. Jonas, guten Tag, mein Freund. Wie geht's?
Mir geht's gut. Wie geht's euch?
Yeah, good.
How are you doing, mate?
Fantastic. Do you know what? I bought something especially because
you bought something, okay?
Well, I say I bought it was quite cheap, but as you're on, I need to change my glasses because we have to twin on this. So
okay.
Now I can see in like this supervision. But for beers, because you were quite involved in the cocktail idea as well, but I don't think anyone else got on board. But I've got my rum, I've got my ginger, but I've also got
a Stein.
Prost.
Cheers.
Love it.
There you go.
I got my football shaped glass over here with some lovely honey rum from the Canary Islands.
Oh, dying to shout that out, weren't you? I still need to get myself some of that. That's a payday treat for me. I think that's going to go in. I say have a rum shelf, but I definitely don't. It goes too quick.
Yeah.
Football shaped glass sounds like an absolute spillage nightmare. By the way, how's that staying? Has it got a flat bottom?
It's all right,
oh, okay. I just pictured just the most impossible thing.
No. It's shaped like football. You got the seams over here, so yeah, it's just.
Oh, so it's not like one of those
fine glass.
It's not one of those like infamous in the UK. There's a sports store Think Dick's in the US. It's called Sports Direct over here. And that's right, Mitch. There is a sports store in the US called Dick's Sporting Goods. But we've got Sports Direct here, and they did this thing where they had the hugest mug available, which everyone was like, that is brilliant, until you try and drink out of it. Because as soon as you get past this point, it's too wide for your mouth.
Yeah.
So everything just goes down here. So, Jonas, as I said, you are a German Seahawk. You're a returning guest. You're a key member of our Discord. You have been all over this since sort of we started, and we love having you on. We were going to have another German Seahawker on, but he forgot he had to work too. Pascal, shocking.
Shame on him.
But I know, shame. But I think as there is only you, then that means that you can take up all of the questions, sir.
I'm really looking forward to it. Mitch sent them over the other day, and I written some pointers down, so I might have to look at my phone. But
absolutely fine. Don't worry. I have to look at multiple screens. So
you're no matter what. Who is it?
Right. Yeah,
slapped it straight on his face.
Typically, I remember. That's on. I remember I've actually got the graphic for no matter what, and it covers your face, because usually there should be two people there, and we've got another person waiting. It's typical.
I quite like that he got it just slapped on his forehead.
Just right on there. Bosh.
Yeah, it's good. So who's your guy? What's the no matter what here?
Who's my no matter what? Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw some curveballs over here. I've gone with people who weren't mentioned yet. I've gone with Femi Oladejo. If he falls,
nice.
If he falls, he's getting up there on people's draft boards, and I think on teams' draft boards as well. But I think if we're gonna get him in the second round, he's just fascinating. He got I think 4 sacks last year while transitioning from linebacker to edge rusher because the UCLA got Carson Swessinger in at linebacker, and Femi switched to edge. So he's extremely raw there, but his ceiling is so high. Talent-wise, he's 6'3", 261 pounds, 33-inch arms. He's explosive, agile, fluid, everything you want in a pass rusher. And I think you got Mike McDonald over in Seattle, and if one person can form an edge rusher or a defensive lineman, is Mike McDonald. So he got a lot of work on his hands if he got to Oladejo. But the thing which fascinates me is what John Schneider always says. One of the most important things for the Seahawks is character. And like Bryce always says, he's called the mayor. He's just such a good human being. He's so thoughtful in his answers. He's amazing, and I think he got Seahawk written all over him. And if you get him in a second round, probably you have to. If he's still there, I think the Seahawks have to get him.
What's his nickname? It's not the governor. What
no, it's the mayor.
The mayor.
The mayor.
You weren't even listening, were you, Mitch? You weren't listening. We've talked about him before. I've said he's Derek Hall 2.0. He's a culture setter in a team. Derek Hall, who I think could be a future Seahawks captain if we actually pick permanent captains. But this type of player would just be playing both on the edge, and that is just leadership right there.
Yeah, he's an electric player, and his athleticism pops. And there's that versatility of being moved around and being able to disguise him because of that as well. I think he's a really interesting prospect, so I really like that one. Who's the dream pick, Jonas? Who might fall to us, or who could we pick up in a later round that would just be a dream scenario?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, that was the next one. Who is the dream? Is there a dream pick or a dream scenario that might come up for you?
there's a dream pick who is my draft crush, and I've been pretty vocal on him, and I still have to take him as my dream pick, and that's still Siobhan Ravel Jr. He's cornerback is, even though we got Spoon and Woolen, which sounds nice, but it's such a need after that, because like Josh always says, he's over the Rick Woolen experiment. I think a lot of people
join my club.
A lot of Seahawks fans feel that way, and after that you got Josh Jobe, and then there's nothing. Nehemiah Pritchett, but the cornerback is such an important position, and Siobhan Ravel, even though he's coming off the ACL, but he passed all his medicals. He visited the Seahawks, so the Seahawks got their hands on him and checked everything out. And he's from a physical standpoint, he's just I think a big corner. He got those intangibles like speed, and he can jump, and he's got a real good football IQ, things you can't coach. And if you got those intangibles, everything else can follow. You can if NFL coaches get a hand on him, they can teach him. And I think cornerback is still a need, and I think Ravel is a bit of a polar opposite to Devin Witherspoon, who's smaller and lighter. But I think they would match really well, because I think in the coming season, Spoon's gonna get some more outside time on outside corner. So with Ravel maybe on the other side, and the Woolen experiment, maybe you can garner some picks for him. I think that would be my dream pick.
Yeah, I really like the run support that you get from Spoon and Ravel. They're both really willing, coming up to the box and laying the wood down on people. And I think Ravel's far more competitive straight off the snap than Woolen is. Woolen tends to have people blast past him and then relies on his athleticism and ranginess to kind of patch up what he lacks in, straight off the snap. Ravel will compete with you from the snap, and that is something that we lack. Plays won't develop underneath on his side like they do with Woolen. So it certainly gives us something that we're really lacking. So I really like the Ravel pick, and I like the value you'll get him at because of those injury concerns. So I really like that.
You don't have to get him in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, you might find a team goes up for him if they've done his medical checks and they're happy. You might find that, but I think typically now he's projecting somewhere between 32 and 45, so we might need to move a little bit to get him, maybe. But what's your likely pick scenario? Doesn't have to be your first round pick. Something that's likely throughout this draft. What do you think is likely to happen?
I actually gone with the first round, and I thought about it in the last couple of days, and it's if, like Gary said, he hopes that the Seahawks don't trade out of round number 1, because they're gonna miss out on a lot of players, and therefore I have the Seahawks either staying at 18 or going maybe to the mid-20s, and I got Ken Grant there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the players I like us trading back for, actually.
Yeah. I think he's the most explosive defensive tackle in this draft. He's not the most athletic one. I think he got a RAS score of about 7, but the way you see, there was a clip from college where a run play got out of Michigan's hand, and I think he chased a running back like 30 yards down the field and tackled him 30 yards down the field as a defensive tackle, and that's really, really impressive. and having him together with Byron Murphy, like getting Murphy to rush the passer, and obviously Ken Grant can do the same, but he's really, from his size, he's also a good nose tackle. And if you got those two players in there for our next couple of years, you maybe have the most dominant interior D line in the NFC West, at least, if not the NFC at all. And I just think
I like it.
I heard a comment on on Seattle Sports Radio with Brock and Salk, I think this morning, where Salk said it's all fun and games to like pick a cornerback or a wide receiver in the first couple of rounds or in the first round, but he compared the Seahawks a bit to the Eagles and the Lions. They can afford it because they have their fundamentals down. They have their O line, they have their D line, and he said you can't jump straight to dessert before you have dinner. So you have to do the fundamentals first. And I think I don't think the Seahawks will go for O line, even if all of us are hoping for it. But I can see them going for D line because Mike McDonald and to set your anchors there and develop your defense from there is really important. And I think Ken Grant can do this for you.
I was listening to the Seahawks Nest today on my drive for work, and their description of him was he is professional, large human being, which I think is a great way of doing it.
Describes him really well, yeah.
It does. Mitch, is it time?
It's time.
Is it time for Yannick to have a shot? Right. So, Jonas, I'm sorry, this may cover your face, but...
No, God! No, God, please, no!
There you go.
I don't even need to introduce this one. What?
No.
What do you think?
I'm going with a bit of a curveball here, actually. I think the Shedeur Sanders thing is pretty obvious. The not getting offensive linemen in the first 3 rounds, it's obvious. What I think is a bit less obvious is not taking a running back until day 3, which is my
interesting.
or the other way around, taking a running back before day 3. I think the class is so deep, you can get a good running back at day 3, and you got a couple of studs in the backfield with Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and Kenny McIntosh. I don't see it as an immediate need, and the class is so deep that you can basically not choose, but you get pretty good value at running back at day 3. So please God, no, not before day 3.
Excellent.
No,
right,
like
so it is time to get to your mock, sir, because we've got one more guest. We organised this to be a 2-hour pod, but we all know it's going to go over. Let's face it.
It's going up the rails already.
Standard for this. So, I've popped this up purely because one of your boys is currently over in Green Bay. So I'm going to assume, based on the fact that this may be my real name and it's spelt the right way, it's Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Or for English speakers, Jonathan. Yep. He's the International Fan of the Year. He's currently out there. He's had a nice picture there with Roger Goodell. Is that his second picture with Roger Goodell? Did I see?
It's the second picture. Yeah, actually, one of our 2 of our guys from our German Seahawks editorial actually got met Roger Goodell in Munich just on a random street, and he took a picture with them. And the International Fans of the Year actually got to do a meet and greet with not a meet and greet, a Q&A with Roger Goodell last night. And obviously he was there, and he got his German Seahawks flag signed as well. So
amazing.
Well, UK Seahawks means whoop our game. So let's go through your mock.
quick note. The story, because he got Fan of the Year. I know you two are both fans of tattoos. Actually, he got the Seahawks logo tattooed on his leg.
I saw.
And yeah, and he met Jermaine Kearse last year in Munich as well, and he asked Jermaine Kearse to sign the Seahawks logo, and he did it with a Sharpie.
Nice.
And the day, basically the day after, or a couple of days after, before it washed off, he got to his tattoo guy and got the Jermaine Kearse
amazing
signature tattooed on his leg. And this is the way he got his. It takes commitment.
Kearse has got like German roots, though, hasn't he? Was he his family based there, or he's got like German sort of ancestors or family from there, hasn't he? Because he seems to do a lot of the German Seahawks stuff.
Yeah,
and from what I could ascertain, he's got those German roots. So, fair play. Well, let's get into, before I get too jealous.
Yeah,
let's get into your mock.
Yeah, obviously, this is my best one, and I'm throwing it into in there. Obviously, I've talked about him a lot. It's Siobhan Revel. I actually traded down with the Commanders for picks 29 and 61, and then because it's so far to pick 50, I traded up with the Titans in the second round to get a bit of more. I was going
to say that's the first time we've seen Ezaraku in any of these mocks.
Yeah, obviously I thought of offensive linemen, but they were pretty much gone there at 35. Gray Zabel and Donovan Jackson weren't there anymore. And I saw Ezaraku there, and like I said, going for the trenches. Obviously, Ken Grant was gone as well. And I think the Seahawks don't have a number one pass rusher right now. They have pretty good depth with Maffei and Hall and Chenna. DeMarcus Lawrence, you really don't know, but he can be a really good edge setter and run defender if you still got it in him. But I think with Ezaraku, you may he's pretty young as well, and if Mike McDonald gets his hands on him with Eden Dirty as defensive coordinator and as a D-line guy, I think you may have a number one pass rusher there with Ezaraku in the next couple of years. Like, give him 2 years in the NFL system, and I think he can be that piece for the Seahawks there.
Like it. Jalen Knoll, you mentioned Mason Taylor. I think that's great addition to the receiving corps.
Yeah, just giving weapons to Clint Kubiak. I love Jaden Higgins as an X receiver, like with really good value in the second round. But I went with Noel because I think he gives the Seahawks a dimension which they haven't really got right now, because he's got the afterburners. He's so quick, and he can take the top off. And I think the Seahawks are missing a bit of that skill set there, because they obviously have Cooper Kupp and JSN, who are really good route runners, but they can go deep. But Noel is just he's so quick, and he can sprint past D-backs, and obviously Mason Taylor as another receiving weapon. You get AJ Barner there as a more of a blocking tight end, because the Clint Kubiak obviously wants to play with two tight ends a lot of the time, and I think Taylor's more of a receiving tight end, which also gives maybe flexibility to. It sounds a bit rough, but get rid of Noah Fant probably, and
There's a bit of a consensus for that one, sir. So carry on.
And then 4 of your next 6 picks are all trench, aren't they? They've got 2 DTs
Yeah.
and then 2 OTs.
Yeah, obviously, you talked about it with Gary and Rich beforehand. Like really getting players who played with each other, not this year, but obviously last year, because with Alfred Collins, because all the defensive tackle class is so deep, and you get a real nose tackle there, really big piece of human.
I didn't even put this together. He's Texas, and so was Byron Murphy.
He played with Byron Murphy last year. Yeah, so
I've been so
obviously
focused on O-line partnerships, I didn't even realize.
You get the connection of there. Obviously, last year Collins was a rotational piece because, or the year before, because Byron Murphy and Tavondre Sweat played in the Longhorns D line. But they know each other. They play together, and I think they are going to be a really good tandem there. And continuing this with Chase Lund as the offensive tackle, he played with Christian Haynes, so you got the connection there. And I think Christian Haynes can be a really good fit for the Kubiak system. And I don't want to write him off already. And obviously, Chase Lund can, like, you don't know what's going to happen with Abe Lucas. He can fit right in there, and obviously play beside Christian Haynes on the right side of the Seahawks line.
Like that. Ty Robinson, we've had a visit from as well.
Yeah, I think like continuing with the depth at D-line, it's. To get Ty Robinson there, there's obviously interest from the Seahawks. They had him in for a visit, and I think it's tremendous value there in the 5th round, at the end of the 5th round, to get Ty Robinson and really beef up this D line, because obviously you got Jaron Reed and Leo Williams, but they are both on the wrong side of 30 now. And it's like with cornerback, at those 2 guys out, and I think it's going to be looking pretty bleak there as depth goes. So just beef up the beef.
More beef.
Oh, I was saying to Mitch earlier about your meat mock, which
my early meat mock.
If anyone's in our Discord, or you're not in our Discord and you want to join, by all means, Mitch has popped it in our comments plenty of times. You can search up our mock drafts thread there, and the meat mock is in there, and it is meaty.
Yeah, it's meaty, but it's meat. Also it's pretty wasteful of draft capital. Like I think I've gone with two O linemen and 2 defensive linemen in the first 4 picks, and I think it's not. Obviously, there's really good value in there, but you have more pressing needs, even though the Seahawks are going for best play available. And it was a bit of fun.
Nice, I like it.
I've got Taj Brooks on there as well, who I really like as well. That's a highly productive physical runner that I really like.
Yeah, I think we had him on our mock with Rich the other day, I think. And we looked it up, and I think he at Texas Tech he ran for more than 3,000 yards in the last 2 seasons, and for 27 touchdowns. So he's a big dude as well, and I think he can fit in there really well. And it really goes with my goat no, because it's a running back, but on day 3, and like I said, there's a lot of value for running back at day 3.
Very good.
Yeah, obviously I had to go for a bit of depth there at safety, taking Maxon Hook, and obviously one of I didn't forget about the O line, and Bryce Caballew was sitting there. I think Bryce is going to be pretty happy. I think he's a good value pick there as well in the 7th round to add a bit of more depth at the tackle position, because you got those two centers with Olu and Jalen Sandell, and obviously there are a lot of guards, and I think Bryce Caballou can be a really good depth piece there.
Very good.
I like it. Well, Jonas, thank you so much for coming on again. I forgot to ask you, what cocktail did you brew up in the end?
Yeah, I talked about it with a colleague yesterday, and he said that's not a cocktail; it's a long drink. Like I said, I got my football glass here. I got obviously crushed ice, the lovely honey rum from the Canary Islands, which I can really
you can recommend.
I'm not endorsed
Link will
by
be in
them
the
at all, but
Discord.
yeah.
with some type of discount code.
Yeah, so it's basically rum and coke. It's a long drink, I've been told. It's not a cocktail, but a pseudo cocktail. Yeah,
that's fine.
Enjoy.
Don't worry, you enjoy that, sir. And we will see you hopefully in the Discord later. Like I said, Mitch has popped the link in the Discord for anyone watching. We have got Charlie who's waiting, so I am going to let you go, and I will speak to you during the draft, sir.
I'll see you both later. Thank you so much.
Later,
Have a
mate.
great night.
No, thank you very much, man. Bye. There you go. That was Jonas. To everyone who's tuning in, I just want to say a massive thank you from both me and Mitch. If you haven't already, by all means, you can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share with your friends, all about the pod. The more we grow, the more you guys get to join us in conversation. You can join us in the Discord. You've got more of an opportunity to come on the pod, because that's what we're all about. If you do need the Discord, I know Mitch has popped that thing in the comments here or wherever it is on YouTube or X or Instagram, wherever you're watching from. And we really appreciate it. And also, if you're staying up as late as we are both customers of Wraith Energy. You can see my bottle behind me. I've had a Wraith. I know Mitch has had a Wraith. It's going to keep us up during the draft tonight. You can use code 12Talk and you will get 10% off your first order. But Mitch, should we bring on our next guest? This is like speed dating, isn't it, for podcasting? I love it.
And drafting. It's the perfect thing.
Isn't it? Although the next person, we don't actually have a mock draft for him. Why?
Nope.
Because he's a journo, and he puts it all on a newspaper online. How dare he? Charlie Wilson, welcome back.
Oh, muted. He's got his mute on. There you go.
Back. Can you hear me?
Hey, yep, you're there. Look at that. He's got a full-on podcasting setup as well. Big mic and the lot. Hey, do you know what it is? He knows he's going to be on here more often, so it's like, I'll invest.
Whenever I get the invite, guys, I'm coming on.
Hey, mate, you're always welcome on here. Same as everyone that's been on. It's always a pleasure having you, dude. So you sent me a link to your newest article with your mock draft, which we'll go through in a bit. But before we get into it, heard any rumblings? Got any goss?
Yeah, a few things. Nothing massive. I mean, nothing groundbreaking that as big as Penix last year. You guys won't be shocked to hear that the Seahawks are being very aggressive when it comes to moving down. They're really shopping their pick. It doesn't seem like it feels like they want a player. Well, that player, they are pretty sure will not be there. As far as we've heard on our team, there's two of those players who are likely to be Gray Zabel and Colston Loveland. It appears Zabel's going to go anywhere between 10 and 14. If that doesn't happen, if he does fall at 18, the Seahawks, it sounds like they're going to take him. And Loveland is the one who I think is their primary choice, and I could even see them trading up for him if he falls past the Colts. But it feels like they don't think that's going to happen, and so they'll trade down. Now, who they are targeting if they trade down, how far they are going to trade down, no idea. Are they going to trade out the first round completely, like Daniel Jeremiah said? I don't think so. But it remains to be seen if they will trade down, because the Carolina Panthers are also trying to trade down. The Colts themselves are trying to trade down. Quite a lot of teams are trying to trade down, and not many are trying to move up. As far as we know, the Chiefs and the Eagles are only teams that we know that want to move up from below where Seattle are. So we'll see what happens on that front.
Very good.
That's interesting. I mean, well, you could expect it from the Chiefs and the Eagles purely because, well, they sit 32 and 31.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, even though they made the Super Bowl, I genuinely think they've got a lot of work to do. Because that roster, especially the receiving room, because I think what they've got, Xavier Worthy, is Juju still there? There's not many weapons, and Kelsey, even though he's staying on, he's not retiring. He's on that downward slope. You saw I don't want to body shame anyone, but you saw the weight gain. He slowed down a bit. I think they've got a lot of holes that they need to fill through this draft to try and make themselves competitive again next year. So this will be exciting. I'm looking forward to dipping into our Discord tonight.
I will do. If I get anything, I'll go straight in Discord and I'll let you go.
There you go. And that is just perfect for anyone who's going, do I join it? Yes, you do, especially on draft night. Because as soon as Charlie popped in last year and went, by the way, it's going to be Penix to the Falcons. And then he was in for probably 2 minutes, dropped that nugget, ran off, and we were like, "Oh my God, what are you on about?" And then it happened, yeah.
You know what's wild? I said back to you guys in Discord, but I didn't report it on Twitter. I didn't I don't know why I did that. Like, I could have got
priorities, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah, I get
priorities are set.
Well, we always shout it out anyway whenever you're about or mentioned, so you get a little bit of exposure and credit for it from us. But we massively appreciated it. Yeah, well, clearly because you didn't put it on X, but yeah, we love it.
So if anyone doesn't follow Charlie, it's at Charlie Reach PLC on X. Get in there, and you can also look at the Mirror US. We'll be sharing his latest article with his mock very shortly, but it's definitely worth it. Shall we get into the questions first? Because I'm itching to use my board again. I've got the trigger finger.
You're terrible tonight. So the first question on there is no matter what. Do you have a no matter what pick for the Seahawks in any round? A player that you think is a great fit that they should absolutely have a post-it in that screwed up in their pocket with the name on. What do you think?
I've not really thought about this, but off the top of my head, I would say Marcus Bowe from Purdue. He's a interior lineman who I just think is perfect for what Seattle run. I think he's like a fringe first round talent. I really, really like. Super raw, but man, like his potential is so sky high. I would love to see him either taking a 50 or 52. I think that's a range will probably go in. So I guess that's the first one off the top of my head. A lot of people like Tate Ratledge, and I can see that. I'm just not sure how he suits Seattle's scheme. Whereas I just love Marcus Bowe.
Very good. Dream pick. You may have already suggested who the Seahawks' dream picks would be, who they might go at shuffle up the board for, or move around the later rounds to try and pick up. But have you got a dream pick? Who would you love to see as a Seahawk in this draft?
Yeah, it would be Colston Loveland. Talk about a difference maker. He's a guy who I think his blocking is really underrated. I think it's better than Tyler Warren's blocking personally. As a receiver, he's just so smooth. Like he's going to be amazing on those seam routes. He's like, a lot of people say Seattle have issues stretching the field, and they might well do with the current situation. But man, Loveland will sort that straight away. He'll block in line. They can wide up as a big receiver as well. I really like Colston Loveland, and I do think there's a chance that he does fall or Seattle moves up. So that'll be my dream pick.
Love that. A likely pick, or we've covered this already. I think we said, if Gray Zabel's there, that's pretty much a slam dunk. Any other likely picks you think in later rounds? Any that you'd like to shout out as a prediction that we'll take?
I think we might take Will Howard in the second round. I think they're one. Yeah, I'll say this. I'm 99% sure one of the first 5 of Seattle's picks from the first rounder to the 2 third rounders, one of those will definitely be a quarterback. Now, whether they use their second and a third to move up to get Jalen Milrow, I think is there's a big chance of that happening. I can see them flipping 52 and 90 to move up in the thirds and get Jalen Milrow. I don't want that to happen, but I think that could happen. And if they don't do that, I think Will Howard's going to be their guy.
That's interesting. I quite enjoyed listening to Will Howard's Will Howard on Gruden's thing.
Yeah,
I thought he gave a really good account of himself. So.
Agreed. I thought he was fantastic on that show, and I've watched all the other quarterbacks on that show. Jackson Dart didn't really get the same feel from him on that show. I don't think he showed himself that well. Will Howard definitely did. Who else did I watch the other day? Riley Leonard. Yeah, he's just not for me. There's someone else who I watched as well. I can't remember, but yeah, that show's great. If anyone hasn't watched that and Seattle do draft Will Howard, you should get onto that show. It's fantastic.
So I did this whole thing with Gruden where I genuinely just sort of pop you in there, mate. I genuinely just didn't know what to think of him as a person after he was coaching the Raiders and whatnot. And since watching this, I've gone, actually, he's pretty keyed in with players. Like, you can see why players want to play for him because he's got some great knowledge. He asks the right questions as a coach. You know, I can see where he could work with a quarterback and really bring out the best in them.
Agreed,
he's got fun energy as well. When he comes across really well on that pod, he's got a kind of almost aggressive, slightly assertive, but also kind of fun vibe that comes through. I can see that that's a good locker room blend.
And how much stash must he have? He seems to get a new box from a different team. He must never have to buy clothes. So jealous. Mitch, is it time? Is it my time? Is it time for Yannick to take a shot? Ready?
It is.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
So I've done that every time.
I went for the full one, mate.
I know. I didn't know where you were going to cut it off. So, what's going to inspire that reaction out of you tonight, Charlie? What could happen that would have you screaming that?
If they trade out of 18 into let's say they trade out of 18 up until like 35, and then we get to the last pick, and it's like, okay, we're not picking today. And then you see the pick is in and the Seahawks time, and they've traded up for someone. And if they trade back in for someone, I'm telling you guys, it's Jalen Milrow.
Yeah, I can see why that's a no God no. That sounds horrific to me.
But you can also see the twisted logic behind it, where they will look at someone like Milrow with his running prowess, with his limited throwing, but he could be that jack of all trades. You could put in a wildcat. You could have him as a running back that would throw. You could pitch it to him to give him more time to throw or run. I wouldn't want to see it because I think it'd be a wasted pick, but it'd be an intriguing pick.
I never feel good taking a player in the first round and then having them sit for a year or two. I know that's probably far more better advised with quarterbacks when they're a little bit raw and they've got a lot of potential there. But I just want to see my first round pick on the field year one, generally. But then we're not used to picking quarterbacks, are we? So I'm not so sort of exposed to that dynamic. But yeah, I just want to see us pick someone in the first round that we see on the field making a difference, personally.
Can I give you an alternate answer to that as well?
Oh, he's gone straight for the soundboard. Don't give him an excuse. Rattle it off.
Yannick is watching, and he's doing a shot for every time he uses a soundboard. Is this another God? Oh no, God!
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
There you go, Yannick. You're welcome. I'm just helping your evening progress.
He's not going to make it to 4 a.m., by the way, Yannick. He's not. Who's your guy then, Charlie? Who do you hate at this point?
So there was reports yesterday that Seahawks might trade one of Zach Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker. Now, I have one source who's pretty clued in with Seattle, and he told me there's no way of trading Kenneth Walker, but they might trade Zach Charbonnet. Now, I don't understand that, because what are you getting for Zach Charbonnet? 6th round pick? That's just not worth it. I'd rather have Charbonnet. However, the fact that there's rumors flying around of them wanting to trade a running back suggests they might draft the running back. And if they draft Cam Scatterbo in round 2, I'm gonna.
You're gonna lose it.
Gonna,
It's late night. You're desperate to swear. I know.
He's a perfect John Schneider running back as well, and it's just no, please no. We don't need him. It'll be such a waste of such a good draft pick. I can really see them doing it.
Do you know my issue with that? And it's we were talking about the gap and zone schemes, the fact that Ken Walker's better with an outside zone scheme, and I really rated Charbonnet last year purely for the fact that he stays on task. You tell him what gap to hit, and he hits it and keeps going. His leg drive is fantastic. And we were talking about Mitch mentioned it a few pods ago. If anyone's just joining, by all means, go back and watch some of our Draft Crushes pods. Someone like Amarian Hampton is that bowling ball. We've got a bit of a crush on Taj Brooks as well, but there's nothing saying that someone like Charbonnet isn't that guy already as well. He has got the mass, he's got the size, he's also got the feet. So not only can he break through tacklers and fall forward every single time to gain that 2-3 extra yards, he can also go round them. And I'm not sure when I saw this story coming out, I was like, is this someone in the Seahawks trying to create some sort of, I don't know, bidding war or interest to see if people pick up the phone and go, we'll give you X for this player, whatever draft pick? Or is it just people going, well, they've got too many anyway, let's just make speculation. And then when we pick someone up in the 5th or 6th, then they'll be like, how many do you need?
For me, it's a great time for us to trade a running back, because there's so many on the board that you could pick your archetype, and there'll be a guy there on every day of the draft that you could take. So whenever it lines up, you could do it. But that also means it's a terrible time to draft. Sorry, it's a terrible time to trade for a running back. So the capital you're getting back. Yeah, if you're looking at Charbonnet and thinking, well, that's a fit for our team. Well, you could get a cheaper one in the draft.
Yeah. We've got ice creams at home. We've got choc ices in the freezer. It's one of those, isn't it? Yeah.
that's such a good comparison. Yeah.
It's like if they trade one of Kevin Walker or Zach Charbonnet, Jody Allen and decision makers should say to John Schneider, why on earth did you draft him in the first place? What was your plan? If you're giving away for that little, why draft him? And also,
why spunk a second?
What's your plan for this guy as well? Where's he going to play behind Kenneth Walker or behind Zach Charbonnet? It's just I would not touch a running back. Running back market in this draft is great. I would not touch it because they've got 3 capable ones who are all really good. Kenny McIntosh, when he's played, looks good, but he doesn't play because we haven't got the snaps for him. I just don't touch running back. Maybe get one in the 6th. But man, we've got bigger needs than bloody running back. For goodness sake.
Hot take. I think if Genty goes to the Jags, I think the Raiders, and Paul will love this, will be looking very hard at Hampton as an RB1. Even though they've got O-line needs, they've got difference maker needs as well.
Amarian Hampton reminds me of Chris Carson.
Yeah, just with he's going to be drafted much earlier, and hopefully without the spinal cord issues.
Every time someone mentions Chris Carson, I go to a little happy place. They were better times.
Do you know what? I remember specifically that flip against Carolina. I was in Orlando on a holiday with my friends. My friend was a Steelers fan, and we had to go to a Steelers bar. So I was like, I'm not going inside there. I'm just going to wear my Seahawks stuff and sit outside because it's Florida. And as soon as that happened, I think I screamed louder watching that moment than everyone inside watching the Steelers game in their totality. It was just
so good.
Great
chef's kiss. So good. So we've had multiple oh no's. We're over our 2 hour limit. I don't care anymore. I think we should get to. It's not a traditional mock, and I'm going to shout out your newspaper, sir. There you go. Here's the article from the Mirror US. If you don't follow, by all means do. You can, like I said, you can follow Charlie at Charlie Rich PLC on X. So Charlie's written a little article. This is his mock draft 2025. You can find it there, themirror.com/sport/American-football/NFL-draft-final-prediction-1108-190. Just nothing like making it easy, eh, mate?
Memorable.
Yeah.
That's the article number of so that's like we've done that many articles on the page.
That's fine. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'll pop it in the comments.
Oh, legend. Thank you so much.
There you go. So if anyone wants to have a look at this alongside. So I won't give the body. Let's just drift down.
Yeah, that's just a lot of crap. Just a lot of filler.
You didn't write that. So this is a first round mock, isn't it? And I think
It's just my prediction of what I think will happen.
I love it. I think that this is the right type of mock to finish on. Mitch, you and I have got mock drafts, but we might have to say them for the Discord. So at 1, Titans are taking Cam Ward. Yep, consensus there. Browns taking Travis Hunter.
Yes, but what I will say is, I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen this on Twitter, but we've got a message earlier. Jaguars.
We say Jaguars.
Yes,
so.
Are heavily looking to move up into second pick to take Travis Hunter.
Oh God!
And play him wide receiver.
That was going to be my question. Do people in the league see him as a wide receiver or cornerback? And I've heard wide receiver more than cornerback.
I don't think it's close in my opinion. I think it's a wide receiver. I think it's a wide receiver who can play cornerback situationally. I don't think he's better as a wide receiver, to be honest with you. And I think that's how the league sees it as well.
Yeah, I love that. Then at 3, the Giants take Abdul Carter.
Yeah, that's pretty much a lock.
Yeah. So that's going to be what they'll have. Carter, Sexy Dexy, Thibodeau, Brian Burns now as well. That's a
fierce room, yeah.
Just to pity the rest of the franchise.
They also have Kayvon Thibodeau, who might get traded.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, what's his space? The Pats take Will Campbell.
Yeah, it's going to be him or Jalen Walker.
Makes me sad, but yeah.
And then Jags at 5 taking Genty. There's been a lot of rumblings about this on social media and the media in general. Do you think that's the Etienne experiment's done? I don't know who else have got in the running back room. Take a lot of pressure off Lawrence.
I wouldn't take Genty here. I mean, he's amazing, but I don't know, like Jaguars, are they going to learn? Like they've drafted Fournette in the first round, it's the end of the first round. Genty's a much better player, absolutely, but how much better is he going to make the Jaguars? 1 or 2 wins, maybe. Like the offensive line is really bad. It's a horrible fit for Genty. I mean, I'd much prefer to see him at the Raiders or someone better, but.
I mean, obviously, we're UK based and the Jaguars are here every single year. I don't get how a team that drafts pretty much in the top 10 every single year has not become a powerhouse in the league. It's just they pick these X factor players every single year, but then neglect all the fundamentals of football. You pick this generational quarterback who's been made to look average because he's got no protection, no weapons. Mm-hmm. You sign veterans on ridiculous contracts who just don't contribute. But yeah, that's another conversation. The Raiders taking Kelvin Banks Jr. to protect whatever quarterback they've got.
Yep. I'm a Membu next as well. That's a fun one.
Jets taking Membu to protect whatever quarterback they get.
There's a lot of talk about Membu potentially falling, and that's where the Chiefs would move up for him. I'm not sure how true that is. There are some reports of he's not like how do I put it, not the most intelligent guy, I guess. Not my words. Other reporters are throwing it out there, and he's like a bit lazy. I mean, if you watched his combine, like that doesn't look like a lazy guy to me. That guy was incredibly.
He was shifting. Yeah,
he was moving. If he does that when he's lazy, then good lord, like watch out. But yeah, he's too good. He cannot pass up on Amon Membu.
No. And then you've got 8, the Panthers taking Mason Graham. I think this is a great pick, but the Panthers, again, are one of those teams that just, same as the Jags, draft some players that should be amazing in any other system, but they can't put it together. Saints taking Walker. Oh,
yeah, if he's there, if he doesn't get taken by the, did you say it was the Giants we're looking at? Not Giants. It wasn't the Giants, was it? It was
Patriots.
The Patriots. Yeah. Tyler Warren at 10.
Tyler Warren at 10 going to the Bears. But haven't they? Who's their other tight end?
Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet. Yeah. I should know that. I tend to take him in a lot of fantasy leagues. 49ers take Walter Nolan, DT.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise about this one.
We're going to hate that for years, I think.
It's also a big need for them as well. When you think about the amount of players that they've lost, they need to start solidifying that D line as well to try and put some pressure. And the Cowboys take McMillan. Is this a solid rumbling you've heard, or is this a
Cowboys? I mean, everything that we heard from Dallas is they're going to take best player available, and apparently McMillan is a lot higher on the NFL's like BPA list than ours. McMillan is seen as like a legit top 10 prospect. So I think Dallas either goes. There's a lot of Gray's able talk about Dallas. I don't see that because they want to take best player available, unless they do draft for need, because they could do with a player like Zabel. But I would think
it's Jerry Jones, mate. He drafts for jersey sales and the flashy plays.
Exactly.
And this is where there's obviously, I think we had this chat as well about sort of McMillan. There was the video that came out, which I didn't realize was when he was 19 as a freshman, saying he didn't watch film. And I think that sort of let a lot of people's sort of opinions dip. But then you look at what he actually did in college, and he's, I wouldn't be mad if we drafted him, put it that way.
He seems like a dangerous guy. He seems like
Charlie, and the next one's a dagger to the heart of Seahawks fans. Gray Zabel going to the Dolphins.
It's not going to be great for us.
I've seen you put on there. They could still trade Jalen Ramsey and bring in a cornerback. Do you think Ramsey could be a potential trade during the draft?
Yeah, it seems like he's going to get traded just to the highest bidder. There's a lot of fourth round talk at the minute. Dallas want him. I think Seattle should go for him personally. They have the money. It's a fourth round pick. Why not?
Oh God, no. I think Miami should trade him away, and then they should take Reek Woolen, and then we can start drafting for our actual needs and our scheme fits. The Colts take Loveland. I can see that because what they've got. I can't remember their tight end. Mo Ali Cox was their tight end, wasn't he? I don't know if he's still there. And then you've got the Falcons taking Michael Williams.
Easy on that one.
Yeah. Cardinals taking Donovan Ezeraku. There we go.
Yeah, I have no idea with this one. This was just a complete guess. There's not many rumblings about what they might do. He makes sense. They really need a speed rusher. Need a pass rusher in general, so that was the one I gave them.
Do you know, Jonas was the first person in any of our mocks that's actually put him in any round. I think everyone's glossed over.
Yeah.
So if he goes in the first,
he had us trading up out of the 50 to take him early in the second, right? I think that was his mock.
Early second, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't see him lasting to that long, but you never know.
Mike Green at 17 to the Bengals. Character concerns is all I'm hearing about him.
Yeah, he got kicked off Virginia's team a few years ago, and no one really knows why. Yeah, that's the issue. He interviews quite well. He doesn't seem like a. I mean, he may have made a mistake a few years ago and turned his life around a little bit. But man, he's a talented player. A lot of questions about like who he's going against, but he went against Ohio State and looks pretty good to me. Got a sack and a half, so yeah, he's a player who you should take a chance on at 17.
I think as well, if in college, if someone has a misdemeanor or an issue when they're early on in their college career, but then they turn it around, you don't hear anything else afterwards, you've got to really take it on that sort of latter part of their college career. Right, the big reveal now, Charlie. Malachi Starks.
There it is.
Explain yourself, sir.
He's another one that is a lot higher on NFL's teams boards than ours, according to a few people. Someone at the Senior Bowl told me that, yeah, he's going to go higher than what people think. Again, I just think it's Seattle going to go best player available here, and I think he's a player who they're going to like. Malachi Starks is like all the good bits of Jamal Adams, and that's why I think John Schneider might like him. Like, he loves those open field tacklers, like really solid in coverage. Had some bad tape in 2024, but man, his 2023 tape is so good. It's like perfect to pair him with Julian Love. Yeah, I think he's a player John Schneider's really going to like. And obviously, Matt McDonald, defensive guy, is going to like him as well. So, yeah, that's welcome with Malachi.
I like this. And Joe as well, who's in the comments, is boom, pairing with Love.
Yeah, I mean, both versatile players. Both can play in the box. Both can play deep cover 3. I really like the idea of it. I'm not crazy on, like, I'd rather trade down and get him, but I think this is what they might do if the draft falls as the way that I have it.
I like it. Right, let's get through the last lot. So we've got Tampa Bay taking Will Johnson. Oh, I love a bit of Will Johnson. Then you've got the Broncos taking Hampton. Steelers taking Jackson Dart.
That seems to be the emerging consensus now, actually, doesn't it?
It does sound like they prefer him to Shadur Sanders, yeah. So, but we'll see. You never know. But it does feel that way.
I like that. Chargers taking Kenneth Grant.
Michigan thing.
Yeah, it makes too much sense, doesn't it? They need a tackle.
Oh, you know for a fact as well, Harbaugh's already got his number in his phone. You got the Packers taking Maxwell Hairston.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. I don't have him highly either. But again, another guy who's getting a lot of first-round buzz, and the Packers need a cornerback really badly. Jay Alexander may get traded tonight as well. They lost Eric Stokes for agency. So, yeah, I can see what's happening.
I don't know why they won't go for Jade Barron, though, because if they're going to lose Jair Alexander, Barron's like a perfect sort of swap in. He can play. He's got the multiplicity to play cornerback. He can play him at safety as well. He'd be a fantastic. He's a fantastic slot. But he's going to the Vikings at 24.
Yeah.
The Texans taking Josh Simmons, someone to finally protect Stroud, and Jihad Campbell falling at 26 to the Rams. Oh, I'd hate this.
Oh no, this would suck.
I hate this so much. Tyler Booker going to the Ravens. I think that's actually a good fit as well. It's just pure pass blocking there. Then you've got Golden going to the Lions because they need more weapons.
They might be trading Jameson Williams this offseason.
I've heard that as well. Then you've got the Browns taking Shador. So the Browns would get Hunter and Shador. And they've traded up to get this, have they?
Yes, with Washington.
Yeah. Then you've got the Bills taking Derek Harmon, defensive tackle.
That's a fun pick.
Yeah.
Him and Ed Oliver will be really good together.
Yeah. I love Ed Oliver as well. Then Kansas take Donovan Jackson.
Yeah.
Needed after that Super Bowl. And then, the Eagles take a Buka.
This is one that heard quite a few people say this. Eagles really like Egbuka. The Cardinals are also very much in on Egbuka, which I don't want to happen. Yeah, Arizona are a team to watch for Egbuka. Dallas are a team to watch for Egbuka. Another team who else have a Ravens also like Egbuka.
I like that. Well, that right there is a fantastic mock, if you ask me. Oh well done, mate. Well, it's like you report on this every single day. It's like it's your job. But however, we are going to, depending on the accuracy of that, we are going to slate you to high heaven if it's completely incorrect. But yeah, thanks so much, Charlie. We love having you on here. And it's, you know, we've got to that point where Mitch and I went, 2-hour pod, that'll be absolutely fine. And we're well over that. Before we let you go and Mitch and I wrap up, do you want to tell people where they can find you? Obviously, they've just seen you at the Mirror US. They can find your articles there, but where else can they find you?
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Love coming on as always. At Charlie Reach PLC on Twitter. I'll be live on Mirror US throughout the night. I'm doing instant grades on every single pick. I'll try not to give Seattle a D when they take some randomer we've never heard of. But yeah, I'll be live on there throughout the night, and I'll hop into Discord if I have any little information nuggets before the pick. I'm not going to ruin any picks, but I will let you know if I hear something that's worth getting you guys excited and keeping you all awake for.
Love it.
Brilliant.
We'll be up anyway. Charlie, thank you so much, mate. It's always a pleasure having you on. And hopefully we'll see you on the Discord later with some hot goss.
Will do, guys. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.
See you later, mate.
Cheers,
Bye.
Charlie.
Well, there we go. That was our pre-draft special. We said it was going to be 2 hours. We've overrun. It's kind of standard for this pod. But we want to thank absolutely everyone who's tuned in. If you haven't and you'd like to, by all means, you can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're on YouTube. You can find us on X, Twitter, Blue Sky, all the socials. We've got a Facebook group as well, which we really want to try and grow. But the main thing is, if you guys want to follow us on YouTube, it really helps this channel grow and get more reach via the algorithm thingy. We've also got a Discord, which Mitch has popped the link for many times in the comments. You can join that for free. Just come in, and we have a general rule, which I nicknamed DBAD, which is don't be a douche. There you go. I'll keep it PG because we're a family-friendly pod. If you want to join that, we'll be hosting a live draft party. So the main rules really are you watch it on our feed. Don't spoil it by going on X or whatever, because there might be a slight delay. The only person allowed to spoil might be Charlie if he gives us a nugget, but that'll come in sort of 10, 15 minutes before a pick anyway. If you want to help support us, we've got loads of links down here in the comment-y description bit. Such things as if you want to buy Wraith Energy, use code 12talk. You get 10% off your order. And there's also things like buy me a coffee or buy us a beer. It really helps, keeps the lights on. It helps us use all this fantastic platform, which hopefully will work with YouTube next time we do this. Not that I'm bitter about technical.
It was only a slight intermission for like 10, 15 minutes.
It was. But yeah, I mean, I have had a brilliant time. I've still got some beers. I've got some rum. I'm going to go to the loo, I think, and just chill out for a minute. And then we're going to get in the Discord and do the live watch party. So Mitch, I'm sorry you couldn't get your hour nap in.
No, it's fine. I'll struggle on. It's fine.
And just quickly before we go, we've got some comments I want to get to. So we've got Yannick says he talked about Zabel's variability before, but in the system couldn't be center too much for a rookie. If I get it right, centers calling checks also. So much pressure there. Yes, there is, but I think based on who we've got and the coaches we've got, it'd work. And even if he has to go to guard and then move into center, wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Rich has come in and say Milrow could be a Taysom Hill type role. Yes, he could, but as long as we don't spend a second on him. Joe's coming in saying hot take, nothing's going to help Lawrence.
That is a hot take. I think he'll
Yeah.
be fine. I think his productivity was good, minus the injuries, and if he's passing medicals and things, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be a real contributor.
Yeah. And then we've got Gary saying, should we trade up for the first time in how long? No. Based on our needs, based on what's on the board, what's available. And I'm going to be really quick with this because I'm dying for a pee. I don't think we should. But I'm going to finish this with, from me, from Mitch, from all of our guests, from everyone that's tuned in, from everyone in the Discord. Thank you so much. We've been the 12 Talk Podcast. My name's Josh. This is Mitch. We will see you in the Discord. Come and join us. We're going to be hosting a watch party. Peace out and go Hawks.
Go Hawks.